Christian Bale's Batman is the best live-action Batman of all time. And I say this as someone who loves Robert Pattinson's portrayal. And yes, Zack Snyder fans, Ben Affleck's Batman is definitely more physically intimidating. Ben is an absolute unit. But overall, Christian Bale's Batman is the GOAT. The journey we see him go through, from a lost young man in Batman Begins to a certified legend in The Dark Knight Rises, is inspiring to say the least. Shout out to Christopher Nolan for bringing the realism of Batman onto the mainstream. His iteration of Batman came after the colourful campiness of the Joel Schumacher movies. Those Batman movies included Ace Ventura Riddler and BDSM Catwoman. It should also be noted that Batman and Robin is where the bat nipple suit made its debut and thankfully its last appearance. Having said this, the movies are still fun and I can appreciate them for what they are.
Alright everyone, chill.
Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy toned down the goofiness of the Batman mythos and explored more serious themes of what it means to be a hero. This is the Dark Knight trilogy and Masculinity. If you've been watching my channel for a while, first off, thank you, your support means a lot. And secondly, I know I haven't been very active on YouTube recently, and that changes now. Expect a lot more consistency from me from now on. I've got a lot of video ideas, so stay tuned. Subscribe so you don't miss anything. Also, liking and commenting on this video wouldn't hurt either. Thank you. Batman Begins is the origin story of the Batman. We are introduced to Bruce Wayne as a man who is lost in life and looking for purpose and meaning. Even though he's a billionaire, he chooses to live amongst criminals in foreign countries. Even though he hates criminals, he does this to learn how they think and operate. And as the saying goes, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. But ultimately, Bruce does this to learn more about himself. Who is Bruce Wayne without the money and status? What is Bruce Wayne's purpose in life? To answer these questions, he rejects comfort. He wants more to his life than one of a trust fund rich kid. He sacrifices an easy life for the chance of a more meaningful one. I believe this is what truly separates boys from men. An immature man would rarely seek to challenge himself, to put himself out of his comfort zone. Whereas a man who actively seeks out discomfort as a means to challenge himself, to push himself beyond his limits, is truly worthy of respect. At this point in Bruce's life, he's mostly just wandering around with criminals and getting into fights with them. That is until he is introduced to the League of Shadows.
The path of a man who shares his hatred of evil. The path of the League of Shadows.
The League provides Bruce with brotherhood, purpose, and mentorship under Ra's al Ghul, up until he disagrees with their philosophy of killing criminals. By this point, he has cemented his beliefs and values as a man, and taking one's life is something he will not cross. So he rejects the League of Shadows' barbaric practice of killing criminals by killing them. Okay, so obviously there's a bit of a grey area here. He doesn't kill them directly, but more so tries to escape by burning the place down, and their lives just happen to be collateral damage. Basically, the point is, Bruce shows that he is fully aligned with his values, so much so that he actively rejects the community that helped him and gave him guidance when he was lost. He chose to be true to himself rather than be a blind follower. Again, another trait that is worthy of respect. He doesn't change his values or who he is just to please others. The sequel to Batman Begins, and widely considered the best of the trilogy, The Dark Knight. This movie introduces us to Heath Ledger's Joker, an interpretation of the character that even 16 years later is the most iconic Joker in live action. And for a good reason. It's also the most poorly imitated Joker of all time.
I'm the Joker, baby!
best way to describe Heath Ledger's Joker is unpredictable, which makes him the perfect agent of chaos. This in turn also makes him the perfect antagonist for Batman, a man who is on a mission to save Gotham. Batman has a purpose, he has values and principles that he lives by, whereas the Joker does not.
I'm a dog chasing cars. I wouldn't know what to do with one if I caught it.
What makes the Joker so interesting is that he isn't oblivious to these traits of having direction and moral character. He is aware of them, but actively chooses to reject them. He is one of the most dangerous of Batman's rogues because of this. He clearly understands Batman, so he tests him on his character. Batman's values are truly tested against a man without values in the Joker. He wants Batman to kill him, to make him break his one rule. The Joker believes that when pushed enough, anyone can be corrupted, that anyone can become a villain. And the Joker does succeed in corrupting Harvey Dent, a character who was shown to be a beacon of light, a heroic figure that brought criminals to justice without the need of going outside the law like Batman. Harvey Dent is an example of a man whose moral character was tested and he failed. He succumbs to feelings of rage when his partner Rachel was killed and his face being scarred. He ends up killing multiple police officers and attempts to kill Jim Gordon's family in an act of revenge. The fall of Harvey Dent shows that some men are corruptible, that when pushed far enough, their values will wither away. But some men are not corruptible. Batman is an example of this. Despite being constantly pushed by the Joker, he does not cross his moral lines. His convictions in his beliefs make him incorruptible. He has no other motive than to protect Gotham from criminals. By taking the fall for Harvey's crimes, the Batman allows himself to be vilified in the eyes of the public. He silently takes on the responsibility of being Gotham's protector without the need for recognition. He simply does it because it's the right thing to do. That's the type of man he is, to take on the burden of self-sacrifice for the greater good. The last of the trilogy, The Dark Knight Rises, and personally my favourite. This movie shows us Bruce Wayne as a shell of the man he once was. With an unkept beard and needing a cane to walk, he has completed his mission as Batman. The Harvey Dent Act has put thousands of criminals behind bars. There is no longer a need for a Batman. This has caused Bruce Wayne to let himself go. He doesn't know who he is without Batman. A man without a mission in his life lacks vigor and direction. This is something that the iconic villain of the movie, Tom Hardy's Bane, clearly understands.
Peace has cost you your strength. Victory has defeated you.
Bruce Wayne let himself go because he got comfortable with his victory over organized crime in Gotham. That is of course until Bane causes havoc. Bane is everything Bruce once was, strong, focused, and relentless on his mission. Bane's arrival gives Bruce a reason to become Batman again, and Bane swiftly beats the fuck out of him.
I broke my back.
Batman's defeat is something that humanizes him and reflects a universal truth, that everyone faces failure at some point in their lives. After Bane breaks him, Bruce ends up in a deep prison pit, and this is where we see the start of his redemption. The pit is clearly Nolan's grounded interpretation of the Lazarus Pit from the comics, a supernatural well known for its ability to heal the injured and resurrect the dead. In a sense, Bruce is resurrected and reborn in this pit. The pivotal moment of Bruce's rise comes when he successfully escapes from the pit. His attempts at making the jump to escape the pit fails multiple times until he chooses to forgo the safety of the rope and risk his life. The rope undermines his conviction in himself. Without the comfort and safety of the rope, Bruce has no choice but to bet on himself. Fuck safety, fuck a backup plan. You either believe in yourself or die. I love the Dark Knight trilogy. It cements the fact that anybody could be Batman. Of course, the fancy suit and gadgets obviously cost money, but the essence of the character and what he represents is something that's inside all of us. We all feel lost in life at times. We've all failed. We all question ourselves. But it's when we actually gain the courage to put faith in ourselves and rise. That is when we are heroic.
Why do we fall, sir? So that we can learn.